prophet Daniel, in our first reading this morning, is speaking to God on behalf of the people of Israel. And he knows well their sins, their lack of faith, their disobedience. We have sinned, been wicked, and done evil. We have rebelled and departed from your commandments and your laws. And yet, in spite of their fallen state, their miseries and sufferings, Daniel looks to God and in his prayer is reminding the people of God's complete fidelity, his unconditional love for the people that he has formed a covenant with. Lord, great and awesome God, Daniel says, you who keep your merciful covenant toward those who love you. You, O Lord, our God, are compassion and forgiveness. That's the consoling message of Lent. We are invited first and foremost in our Lenten disciplines to reflect a little more deeply on what we don't like to bring to mind, where we fall short, to recognize in humility our disobedience, our lack of faith. I know I've said it before, but G.K. Chesterton's wisdom is very important. The road to hell is paved with complacency. That's the great danger to worry about. We just begin to feel we're okay, we're not that bad. Lots of people convince themselves they haven't done anything really bad, so why do I need confession? We get complacent. How diligent are we every day in examining our conscience to recognize our sinfulness? That's what Jesus says in the gospel, how quick we are to judge, to condemn, to gossip, to talk about others. We can point out the faults of everyone else easily, but not ourselves. That's way more difficult. The measure with which you measure out in life, that's how we treat others, how we respond to people in our lives. That's the measure that will be measured out to you. It's a challenge, my brothers and sisters in faith. The call, of course, is to be merciful. That's what Jesus says, to be forgiving, to be full of compassion, to be kind and generous, just as the Father is merciful, compassionate, loving, and forgiving. That's our call. To be perfect as God is perfect. That's the way to heaven. We're now already in our second week of Lent. And our prayer, our fasting, our works of mercy are meant to help us to grow more deeply in the things that matter to God. Today we honor one of the great saints in the church, a great missionary, St. Patrick. In his childhood, he lived in Britain and was captured by slave traders. He spent 7 years as a slave, working as a laborer, as a shepherd in Ireland, where he was shipped off in captivity. Those experiences in life can either make a person hard, unforgiving. We've all had bad experiences happen to us. We've been treated badly by others. What do we do? What kind of heart do we have? St. Patrick had a heart of love. He never forgot the people of Ireland. And in those days, he writes in his confessions that he began to sense the presence of God, that he felt cared for and loved even in his captivity. And when he made his escape to France, he was able to begin to study that faith, that call, ended up not only converting to Catholicism, but became a priest and a bishop and sent back to Ireland, where his whole heart and life was devoted to bringing Jesus to others, the love, the mercy, the compassion of God, to the people who did not know the Lord. It was not an easy work. Today we honor St. Patrick with parades, with festivities, all kinds of things that are rather joyful, and that's good for us to remember and celebrate our faith. But St. Patrick lived a different kind of life. He was an ascetic. He fasted every day. He was a man of deep prayer. He called people to repent from their sins and to live more fully in the grace of God. That's what we remember today. The real St. Patrick, a man of faith, a man who offered his life completely without reserve for the good of others. The measure with which you measure will in return be measured to you. Do we want to honor St. Patrick well? Then offer your lives, your heart, your time, your talent, yes, your treasure. That's the call of Christians. To give until it hurts, for the good of the church, the good of others, especially those in need, and to bring Jesus and his saving love into the lives of all. I'm reminded as well today of St. Augustine, who told the Christians who were complaining about how hard it was to be part of the church, you can never outdo the generosity of God. The more you're asked to give, give. And the more you give will be given back to you in a far more abundant way, because it's given by God, who desires nothing other than our salvation. And he offers us life in heaven if we hold fast to the call of Jesus to lay down our lives in love for others.